You see, this is why I don't go swimming in like natural waters and stuff, because you don't know what the f is down there. I saw that eye and I was like, shit.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Will, and welcome back to another spoiler review for The Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 2, entitled The Mines of Mandalore. This will be a spoiler review for the latest episode of The Mandalorian, so if you haven't checked out the new episode, make sure you pause this video, go watch it, and then come back and hear my thoughts on the episode as a whole. And if this happens to be your first time checking out one of my videos, hi, my name is Will and I do geeky stuff on the internet. I do reviews and reactions, discussions, some gaming, some drinking. I just try to have a lot of fun. Hope you do as well. And if you're interested in hearing my point of view as a geeky bear on this vast internet, please subscribe to the channel. It would really help me out. I'm trying to get to 650 subscribers this year, so it is kind of a lofty goal, but I think we can do it with a good sprinkling of assistance from you wonderful people who are checking out this video. So let's talk about the latest episode of The Mandalorian. In this episode, we do see that Din and Grogu have made their way
downtown?
towards Mandalore, because they're going to try to get Din and into the lake of the special water that's in the Mines of Mandalore, underneath one of the major metropolitan areas on Mandalore in like the capital city. We found out that information thanks to Bo-Katan from the previous episode, who does make her return in this episode as well later on in the episode. But first, they make the small detour to Tatooine in order to try to look for the IG memory core chip that they need in order to try to resurrect IG-11. Our favorite junker scrapper lady, which I never can remember her name, so I'm just going to call her the lady. She's unable to locate the part, even by asking some of the Jawas that are there roaming around as well. But she does offer up R5, which is the astromech that's kind of been roaming around her shop for the entire time that we've known her. And if I'm to understand, that is supposed to canonically be the same R5 astromech that we saw in A New Hope that almost went to Luke Skywalker, but then had a
R2 unit has a bad motivator, look!
Once he unwillingly accepts R5's help, they do travel to the Mandalorian system, which gives me a little bit of clarification for some of the thoughts I had from episode 1. First off, Din Djarin's never actually been to Mandalore. He actually was from a neighboring planet in the same system. I forget the name of the planet, but if I can find the name of the planet, it's right here. And the planet nearest to it as well within the same system as Mandalore is the planet that they stopped off to visit Bo-Katan. And he makes a point of pointing this out to Grogu because as a Mandalorian, they have to be able to not only to be excellent warriors, but they also need to be able to navigate their way around the galaxy, being able to read maps and understanding where they're going, so that way they're never truly lost. I'm paraphrasing that a little bit. So once they get down to the planet, they do encounter some natural subterranean creatures that are from Mandalore that attack not only R5 but Din Djarin. They're able to escape for the most part and start to make the journey through the ruins of Mandalore to get to the Mines of Mandalore. There's a lot of Mandalore that I'm going to be saying in this episode, so just get ready because the show's called Mandalorian. What do you expect? Once they get down there and start looking for it, they are attacked not by the creatures that they encountered early in the episode, but they do get attacked by some sort of mechanical, intelligent life form that actually traps Din and like paralyzes him to a certain extent, and it seems like it's going to harvest his body and his armor. The creature, it seems like someone who used to be like human at a certain point. We don't get any sort of name or clarification of who this being is, but they do catch Mando off guard and are able to disarm him, his blaster and the Darksaber. And Grogu attempts to use the Force to try to free Mando, showing off a little bit of the skills and trainings he acquired while staying with Luke for an undetermined amount of time. but he is unable to free Mando and ends up going on the run in order to try to get help. And Mando instructs Grogu to go find Bo-Katan. He's able to get out of the cave, shows off a little bit more of his Force abilities. It's nice to see that Grogu can hold his own. He's able to kind of walk and move around a lot more without just his little pod. So it's a cool way to show the growth of the character without having to tell you the character's gotten stronger. It's always better to show, not tell. And he's able to actually communicate with R5 to get off of Mandalore and head to go see Bo-Katan, who assumes it's Mando coming back, and she's just not having it, but is very surprised to see that it's just Grogu piloting the ship, and is able to determine with the help of R5's memory banks what happened to Mando, and agrees to go help and to rescue him. And we get a lot of time alone with Bo-Katan and her explaining to Grogu, certain things. And you can see the weight of the destruction of Mandalore has on Bo-Katan as a whole throughout the entire episode, having to walk through the ruins, the home that she grew up in with her family. They ruled the planet, and it's devastating for her to, I guess, go back to the planet and to see it in the state. I believe this is like the first time she's been back since the Siege of Mandalore, I believe, or the destruction of Mandalore for that matter. But they're making their way through. They actually get to Din and are able to rescue him, and we get to see Bo-Katan show off why she's such a capable fighter. She's able to take down this creature, this person, and she wields the darksaber excellently as well, which it does suck that the whole right to combat thing is what's really keeping her from wielding the darksaber. But she, you can tell by her expertise use of it that she should probably be the rightful wielder of it. But she's also had a lot of training in the past, because I didn't watch Rebels a lot, but I remember that she did get some training from Sabine and Ezra Bridger, who were two of the main characters in Rebels, who are supposed to be making their live-action debuts in the Ahsoka series, which is coming out, I think, later this year or sometime next year. They're able to rescue Din Djarin and get him back up to at least a movable state, but he is still hell-bent on finding the waters, even though Bo-Katan thinks it's all a myth. Doesn't think it's a smart idea, but she's willing to lead him to where the lake is in the Mines of Mandalore, and it's a good conversation between the two, and a lot of information that Din never knew about Mandalore, because again, he's never been to Mandalore. He is a Mandalorian because he was a foundling, very similar to what Grogu is now. So it's good that they're able to have this sort of civil conversation. I know there was tension initially, especially with how we found Bo-Katan at the beginning of this season, but it's nice to see that she is still willing to help Mando for a multitude of reasons, most likely. There's probably a level of respect between them. They've helped each other out multiple times over the course of last season, and obviously in this episode that we're talking about. But also, she can't obtain the darksaber without defeating him in combat. So there's probably that other reason there too, that she kind of needs to keep him alive for. But it's not really spoken in the episode, but you can kind of guess that could be one of the reasons. But also, maybe genuinely wanting to help Mando, and maybe wanting to open his eyes to a different sort of viewpoint of the whole Mandalorian culture. She talked about how they've always been at war with their own people, and how it's really one of the things that led to them being so easily defeated by the Empire. Once they actually get to the mines and go to the lake, Din decides to start taking off most of his stuff. Of course, he still has his armor on, and starts reciting, I guess, the credo as he begins to walk into the lake without, checking it out or anything. It's very blind faith-ish, but immediately he just drops down. And this is where I get a little confused, because it's a sheer drop. And then it's only about a second or two before Bo-Katan actually jumps in after him to try to save him, because he's obviously taken off all of his weapons. I believe his jetpack is off and the whole 9 yards. So he's basically at the mercy of whatever potentially pulled him under, or if he just slipped and fell. But she has to race to catch him, and by the time she gets to him, he's already at the bottom. And so just the distance cleared kind of threw me off for a second. But once she gets him and starts heading back up, she encounters a creature, a giant eye, and this massive creature just slinks off into the darkness, which is absolutely terrifying if you ask me. This is supposedly the mythosaur, which is a giant creature. I thought it was a land-based creature, but apparently it's aquatic as well. But this is the creature whose head and horn design is what the symbol that was adopted by the Mandalorians as their symbol for their entire culture. So, and it was believed that they were all went extinct, or they were hunted down, or if they were exterminated by the Empire, which kind of makes a little bit more sense. But there was at least one alive. I'm assuming that's what it was, but it definitely left a shocked look on Bo-Katan's core once they finally got out of the water. And that's where the episode ends. Like, it kind of leaves you on a cliffhanger because we don't know if Din is okay. I think he's okay. I don't know what kind of proof he's going to get to tell that, A, he bathed in the waters in order to get the armorer and the other members of I think it's called the Watch, the other members of that sect to re-accept him. What this kind of does to Bo-Katan, because she was under the impression that, Mandalore basically was uninhabitable, or it was cursed, or no, she didn't believe it was cursed. I think the Watch or the armorer believed it was cursed, but Bo-Katan was the one that said it wasn't cursed. But she also didn't know that the mythosaur was still alive, apparently. So I wonder what that's going to do with how she views the whole situation as well. Because, again, she isn't necessarily as devout as the other sectors of the Mandalorians are. And she even talked about like how her father recited the credo and did the rituals and stuff, and she would do it, word for word, and she would really put effort into it because it's something that was important to her father, so it was important to her as well. Again, paraphrasing. So that's where the episode ends. It's a really cool second episode. I really liked it. It was very intense. Like, the creatures, when they were jumping out, kind of caught me off guard a few times, and especially seeing the mythosaur in the water was surprising. If I was in that situation, my pants would be a lot wetter than the water. It was also cool to see Grogu kind of have like his own little adventure. He had to be brave, and that was something that even Bo-Katan noticed that he was fearful. Seeing that, able to tell him the right thing in order to bolster his confidence. And that's a sign of a really good leader. It's like assessing your teammates and your people, and in order to inspire them to be greater and to face the fear, face the challenges head on, and to realize your own inner strength. And that's something that's very, very cool about their time together, even though it was so brief. And I really like that, he's able to be more resourceful and take care of himself a little bit more. I really enjoy The Mandalorian. I think it's a fantastic show. I like how it has familiar beats and elements from the main Star Wars movies, but it also can tell its own story and carve out a deeper lore without having to rely on Jedis or Skywalkers or, your easy conflict between good and evil. You have this internal conflict with a race of people, and trying to find a way to unite them all as one when they have such different viewpoints on things. It creates a much more interesting story to tell and to watch. So that's one reason why I really enjoy the series as a whole. So those are just my general thoughts and a couple spoilery things from the episode. Let me know anything I might have missed in the comments down below. As always, thank you so much for checking out this and all my videos. I really do appreciate it. If you're new here and you did make it all the way to the end of the video, hey, way to go. And I appreciate it. And if you happen to really like this video or like some of the other content I have on this channel, subscribe to the channel. It really would help me out. Like I said, we got a lofty goal to hit this year, and I can't do it without all you wonderful people at home. You can follow me on a lot of different social media platforms listed at the end of this video. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And as always, until next time, may the Force be with you, and I will catch you later. Hey, thanks for watching this video. If you did like this video, why not give me a thumbs up and share it with your friends? You can subscribe to the channel by clicking on my gorgeous little face right over there. You can follow me on all the various social media platforms right below. And last but certainly not least, if you've got a few extra minutes, why not check out one of the lovely videos floating right over here. Later.